Veterans Account of Pentagon Cleanup on 9/11. I was a soldier. I was a mortician in the U.S. Army. I served my country with dignity and respect, but the government treated me with dishonesty and contempt. The following is my account of the attack on the Pentagon. I was already a soldier by September 11th, 2001. That morning, we were doing motor stables when my platoon sergeant ran up and said there had been a terrorist attack on America and we needed to mobilize. Being a mortician and having been previously deployed overseas already, I knew what to expect. Since we kept our vehicles and gear at the ready just for such an event, we were in formation and receiving our briefing within 20 minutes. This entailed our mission and convoy route. We were then off to the Pentagon. We arrived within 2 hours after leaving. I was only given enough information to be worried. As we arrived, there were civilians holding signs on the roads and grassy knolls that said, "God bless our troops," and "Death to America's enemies." As we were unloading our equipment and the command was being briefed, we took in the sight. A huge hole was in the side of the Pentagon, on fire and collapsing. Once our command had the information they required, they relayed our orders to us, and we began setting up our collection points. After all was set up, we broke down into teams and began filtering into the DoD processing tents, where we were made to sign an NDA that stated we were not allowed to remove or take pictures of anything other than mission-specific materials, and we had to take pictures for our Pentagon badges that were required to go into the military installation. Up until this point, I still had no idea what really happened, and I wasn't being given any more information than my rank was privy to. I started my shift with 2 more soldiers. We suited up in full Tyvek suits with hoods and began our journey into the damaged portion of the Pentagon, but not until our FBI and Pentagon official escorts said so. We worked in 3-man teams. I entered and immediately realized we'd be here for a long time. Bodies and pieces of bodies were everywhere. Smoke and fallen debris surrounded us. I went in and started placing pieces into the body bags we took with us. I had to load and carry the remains with another team member. After a long 6 hours of doing this, my shift was over and another took its place. The next day, our leaders decided to rotate the shifts between bagging bodies and transporting them to the Air Force Base at Dover, Maryland, where all the bodies were taken for tentative identification. I drove the convoy semi with the refrigeration unit the 2 hours to Dover and helped unload the bodies. Once at Dover, I finally got the chance to talk to some people who had more information than I had previously heard. Apparently, 2 airplanes had hit the Twin Towers, and another plane had been taken down in Pennsylvania. I was also told that a plane hit the Pentagon. I was shocked when I heard these stories, for more than one reason. I started watching the CNN videos of the attacks, watched the planes hit the Twin Towers. Something was odd, though. So on it went over the next 40 days. I rotated between pulling body pieces out of the Pentagon and driving them up to Dover. Over that 40 days, I held my questions inside. I felt ashamed to question the official narrative. I was overcome with grief at the sight of these Americans, killed by terrorists. But I couldn't help think that something wasn't right. Why would the government lie to us? I asked myself. I let it go. We'd done our job. We packed up and left the Pentagon to the praises of our command and higher-ups. We were treated like heroes by the people with signs. We got back to Fort Lee and were immediately debriefed about the possibility of going to war. I was filled with excitement about the possibility of killing America's enemies. A couple of weeks later, after stuff had died down and we'd all had a chance to watch the news and speak amongst ourselves, I started asking the questions that had bothered me at the Pentagon. I was not a conspiracy guy by any means. None of my fellow soldiers seemed to care at all, but some agreed. You see, I was there for 40 days. I was told an airplane, a 757, had hit the Pentagon, just like the Twin Towers. The problem was that in all my time going in and out of the Pentagon, I never saw any airplane parts. No seats, no wings, no engines or landing gear. No airplane parts at all. When I asked anyone who went in, they couldn't remember seeing any airplane parts either. I did have a Tyvek suit on, but that was just for the asbestos. It didn't cover up the smells. There was no stench of jet fuel at all. I worked on airplane and helo crash sites on previous missions, so I know exactly what a crash site smells like. And this was clearly not a crash site. My mind was racing. I couldn't believe that we, the American people and soldiers, had been lied to about something so important, so I started digging, and what I found shocked me. Now, I was still full-on indoctrinated into the military lifestyle, being active duty, so I still had to be a soldier 24/7. But in my off time, I went down the conspiracy rabbit hole completely. I started researching different things I had seen on TV or read about on the internet, like the dancing Israelis, Watergate, or the Oklahoma City bombing. I was fully aware after only 6 months that our government was corrupt. Little did I know how far it actually went. If they will lie to me, imagine the lies that they'll tell you.